Let's practice for the TSI test number 18. It says the area of the triangle above is 21. What is the value of x? The area is important. What is the area of a triangle? It's 1/2 base times height, or it is base times height divided by 2. The area, let me see, is 21. So we know that A is equal to 21. The height is equal to x, and then the base is equal to x plus 1. I think I'm going to go with this one. I am going to go with that one because I tried it with this one and it's going to be very complicated. So let's do that one. So we know that, excuse me, let's see, base times the height all divided by 2 is going to be equal to 21, right? That's what my formula says, okay? Whenever there's something on the outside, we multiply it to everything on the inside. So now I have x squared plus x divided by 2 is equal to 21. Now we got a little situation going on because anytime you want to figure out what x is, you have to get it alone, right? You have to always isolate your variable. We upgrade a little bit on this problem. So I have x squared plus x divided by 2 is equal to 21. First thing you want to do is get rid of this fraction. Anytime something's being divided by 2, we're going to multiply it by 2 or whatever is at the bottom of the division, we want to, multiply it because that's the opposite. We always do the opposite operation. If I was to truly multiply this all the way out, I would show you all how I could reduce this down to have a factor of 1 that cancels it out. But just know that if I multiply this entire situation by 2, it's going to cancel out the denominator. So I'm going to be left with x squared plus x is equal to 21 times 2, which is 42. Now I have x to the power of 2, which lets me know this is called a quadratic equation. And the way we're going to solve this is by factoring versus using the formula. To solve it, though, we have to get rid of this 42. It needs to be on that side. So I'm going to subtract 42 from both sides. Now I have x squared plus x minus 42 is equal to 0. The equation has to be equal to 0, and I'll show you why in a second. Whenever you solve a quadratic equation by factoring, literally we're going to factor this into 2 parentheses because when we have a trinomial, we multiply 2 somethings together to get these 3 situations right here. All right. It's 2 binomials. It's either going to be plus or minus or plus. We're not sure yet. But based on this last number right here, it's going to help us out. See that negative 42? We're going to use that. We're going to factor it. And whatever 2 numbers we get, they have to add up to a positive 1. 6 times 7. If you don't know the factors, you can go 1 times 42, 2 times 21. You just go in order. But I'm trying to go a little bit quick. And it has to be a positive 1. So remember, this is negative 42. I have to multiply them and make negative 42. But when I add them together, they need to equal a positive 1. So that means that x minus 6 is going to go in this first parentheses right here. So x minus 6 times x plus 7. You're like, but why? Well, let's see. When I multiply these 2 back together, I'm going to get x plus 7. 7x, and then negative 6x, and then negative 42. And when I add the 2 middle terms together, that's going to give me a positive x. That was my whole reason for doing this. But you would have already have learned like multiplying binomials and stuff like that once you would to get to this part in class. All right. Now, since I have these 2 parentheses touching each other and it's equal to 0, there's a rule that says if I have 2 numbers that are, or 2 factors that I'm multiplying together that's equal to 0, I can break them apart and make them both equal to 0. Now I can solve for x, because no matter what, anytime you have a variable in an equation with an equal sign, you can solve for that x. How do we solve for x? Since we are subtracting 6 on this side, we're going to add 6 to make this a 0 pair. Now this is x is equal to 6. Over here, we're going to minus 7 from both sides. So now I have x is equal to negative 7. Now, my problem asks me to determine what does x equal. It says 7, 6, or 3. You see how it doesn't say a negative 7? Because whenever we're doing area, you can't have no negative height. You know what I'm saying? It can't be negative. So then my answer is going to be x is equal to 6.